Riv, you want to talk about the Western Conference first? That's more entertaining for you?
I feel like it is.
Okay.
The West is a good conversation.
I feel like the East, we're going to have the same vibes.
Well, we can just get past the East because then I don't want to,
Okay,
you know what I mean? Let's get past the East real quick. I'll start us off. So I have my tiers broken into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tiers. First tier.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I am modern.
He throw back. He.
I do not have a flip phone. No, I do have
I broke mine.
modern.
That is nuts, Riff. That was rude.
You ever seen the movie White House Down?
I have not. Even though I know who's in it, I have never seen it. No, sir.
It was a movie White House Down. The dudes in the White House, the first speaker or whatever, whoever these guys was, they had They used to communicate in the flip phone. That's how they was going to rob the White House. Communicate in the flip phone and the little pager.
Well, they called like flip phones are like burners, though.
Yes.
Yes. All right, that makes sense. All right, so my Eastern Conference tiers I broke into 5 different tiers. First tier, the Celtics. The only team in there, obviously, the Boston Celtics. They're alone. Next tier, I have contenders. I do have the Sixers. I do have the New York Knicks. Next tier under that, it's called can be top 6. Ooh. I have the Bucks, the Orlando Magic, the Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat.
Can we stop right there for a second?
Yes.
You don't think the Bucks are in that tier 2 with Philly and New York?
I don't.
That's crazy.
I don't think their defense is anywhere near the level where it needs to be to contend for a championship. Also with possibility of Brook Lopez being on the move. You trade in respective seasons, Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez. Now you're hoping and praying Chris Middleton can play anywhere from 60 to 65 games in a season because you need that wing play. On top of it, you're also anticipating Giannis isn't going to miss a lot of time, which unfortunately we've seen him struggle with recently, which is obviously a bummer, which is arguably the best player in this game. But I can't trust the Milwaukee Bucks as a whole.
And you trust Paul George and Joel Embiid?
I do.
Okay.
Roster construction-wise, I do.
You trust them, OG? Paul George and Joel Embiid?
He shouldn't, though. He has to live by his
You
code.
trust OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson?
Absolutely.
Just guys that get banged up a lot, that's all.
I 100% do because when he was on the court, they didn't lose. The thing was when Giannis was still on the court with Brook Lopez and Damian Lillard,
They were mid.
they were underwhelming considering.
I'm interested to hear you.
I
They were
think
even
that
worse with Doc.
Joe is more enticed by Giannis than he is with the Bucks.
Oh, and
I am.
yeah, and if anyone, I'm the Giannis guy at the table.
You are.
If anyone, I'm the Giannis guy. I look at that roster. It is
only Giannis
not a
guy.
contender. It is predicated on, please, Lord, let Giannis be healthy
And Dame.
because
That's
we
the
go
same
as far
argument
as
for
he
Philly.
wants us to go.
It's the same argument for Philly.
You-
Embiid has to be healthy. You're praying to God Embiid stays
But
healthy because if he's not, you're cooked.
roster construction.
They have
I'm
6
not even
players.
talking about it simply off of if Giannis gets hurt. I'm not doing that. Off roster construction
You're
alone.
trusting Kelly Oubre.
You could no. We're
some
talking
respect.
Tyrese Maxey, who was arguably better than Jalen
After the
Brunson
top
in
3,
that
who else
Philly
do they
series.
have?
It's literally Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon, Jared McCain.
Andre Drummond.
And Andre
Here we go.
Drummond.
He played well.
Correct.
Wow.
That's a great
We're
backup
trusting
option.
them for
Which all of
Why
those
not?
guys
Those
are
really
great.
good players.
Which all of those guys are great, Drew. But at the end of the day, Joel Embiid is the post holding up this tent. He goes to pieces, they go to pieces. It's that simple.
So we say the same thing for the Bucks, though.
And not only do we say the same thing for the Bucks, also there's other holes that they have because
Who has more holes?
right
Bucks should be with
the difference with Milwaukee
agree,
is
though.
the same logic that I have about Luka. Dame never was able to get to that effort in terms of championship level defense. On top of that, Milwaukee, they don't have anybody to protect Dame as a defender. I've never bought into the ideology that you can hide guys. You ain't hiding nobody in the league. No. We know who you are. We know how deficient you are as a defender. We've seen guys who are quote unquote getting hidden like Luka. They go after you. But we need guys to protect them. And Milwaukee hasn't done anything on the perimeter, particularly to protect Damian Lillard. And that's one of the main reasons why I am out on Milwaukee.
You know,
I think they're fool's gold.
I think.
Let him finish his tier first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You have the
Is it
play-in and
related?
lottery teams.
So it's can be top 6. Next one. So the can be top 6 are the Bucks, the Magic, the Pacers, the Cavaliers, and the Miami Heat. Play-in squads. I have Chicago. I have the Hornets. I have Toronto.
Take Chicago out. Put him under.
I still think that this can be. They
the
can
East.
be.
It's
I'm
the
not
East.
saying that
honest,
they're
I
locked.
have all those
What
ass
is
teams
enticing
that
you to think about Chicago being one of those teams?
Josh, get it.
Nah, not really.
Kobe White.
Kobe White. They still do have Zach LaVine on the
Io is
roster.
solid second half of the year.
They're a playing team. They just don't.
They are
wanna
a
get the
playing
number
team.
one pick.
They're a playing
You
team.
know, the thing is with
It's not sexy.
It shouldn't be.
It's not sexy
Did
at
you-
all.
Did you name your lottery
Zach
I
teams
do.
yet?
shouldn't
So
be here in October.
locked lottery teams. I do firmly believe this. It's going to be the Pistons, the Washington Wizards, and I do have the Atlanta Hawks here.
So I think that's a.
lottery team.
Raptors are A sneaky team for the play-in.
Listen,
I mean, I guess the 10 seed you could win
Because
like
I say that because
35
the Bulls
games to win.
and Hawks really weren't deserving of
No, I
being
agree.
playing teams, but they still made
You're a
it.
nicer man than me because my tier 4 was we might not talk about you for the entire season, and it was Hawks, Bulls, Nets, Raptors, Hornets,
We're
Wizards.
definitely talking about the Hawks because of Trae Young.
Nets
I don't know if
probably.
he's gonna be on that team.
I forgot the Nets.
That's
They're
what I'm
also
saying.
in my
We'll talk
locked lottery teams.
Silly
Apologize.
Trae.
I love Dell's category. You're probably not going to talk about you all year. That's a great category. I love what you mentioned, the Fool's Gold. I definitely think that should be a category. I wish I did it that way. For the favorites, this is how I broke it down. Favorites is the Celtics, easy. And then contenders, I had the Knicks, Bucks, and Sixers. Those are the only 3 other teams in the East that I feel like can contend. The Bucks, I feel like because they're a second apron team, it's going to be very hard for them to build a roster. But I do like the signing of Taurean Prince, who last year he guarded like the most difficult matchups. He was like top 10 in those matchups. And then DeLon Wright.
DeLon Wright.
I think those
Let's start
were.
off with Taurean Prince's
Listen,
I know. I think those were like okay. Those were good
Andre
signings.
Jackson.
All they
year.
have is minimums to give out.
what
If you have
Taurean
minimums to give out, you
was
can get
an
Taurean,
excellent
DeLon
spacer.
Wright. You
Yeah.
can do worse. That's all.
You can do worse.
That's
You
all you
cannot
got to
do better.
say.
And I feel like if you give Doc Rivers
re-signed
an
Lee
off
Beasley?
season with this team, he
They
can build a great offense
Mm-hmm.
around them. The defense are going to have their deficiencies, but we'll see what happens with Brook Lopez. If they move him and they move Giannis to the 5, maybe unlock something different. But this team has deficiencies. The reason why the Knicks, to me, are ahead of them is because they have depth. I don't think they got the star power at the top, but they have the depth. But because the Sixers and the Bucks have star power, they have a chance to contend depending on what happens, with trades or the buyout market. Things can always happen.
What the Bucks need is just like Dallas hit on a vet minimum with Derrick Jones Jr. this past year. That's what Milwaukee needs. If they
Taurean
could
Prince.
hit on Taurean Prince, DeLon Wright, I get it. They're not sexy
Andre
names.
Jackson.
But if you could get someone who can be, again, DJJ, it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing where you get a vet minimum and this dude is like your best perimeter defender. But if Milwaukee's able to get that out of one of these guys they sign, or even if Andre Jackson can make a leap and be that defensively, then you have at least someone respectable on the perimeter, and you have the star power with Giannis and Dame. Because I also have that big 3 that you did, Joel, with Philly, New York, and Milwaukee. I would have, in that order, I would have the Knicks first, Philly second, Milwaukee third, probably closer to that third tier than the first tier for sure. But I think if you're able just to hit on one of those vet minimums or get some growth internally, you could have something there, assuming Brook Lopez and Giannis and these dudes could stay healthy.
One thing's for sure is Taurean Prince is going to hit 38% of his threes. And I think for Giannis, that's very important. Just having spacing. Even if the defense is going to drop off a little bit, I think just having spacing and allowing Giannis to get downhill and get whatever he wants, it just makes them unstoppable. Darkhorse contenders, I was going to put a team in there. If I were to just put a team in there, it would be the Orlando Magic. I think they have the potential
For sure.
to really rise. If Paolo takes another leap, if Franz comes back a better three-point shooter, the addition of KCP, I think they really have a chance to muck things up in the standings and for a potential playoff team in it. I was thinking about the Pacers in here too, but I love Tyrese Halliburton. I just have to see him average like 24 and 10 for an entire season.
And stay healthy.
And really stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing because I think he has the potential to be one of the best point guards in the league, but he has to stay healthy. So the next tier I had was playoff teams, and I have the Cavaliers, Pacers, and Heat there. I think the Cavaliers are close to being a dark horse, but they need to make a move for another floor spacer. I think if they could get Cam Johnson from the Nets, that'd be a perfect fit for their roster. I think it would really make them a dark horse contender.
Not
because
a great name to mention, obviously, but Miles Bridges is another one that intrigues me if I'm Cleveland. Extra offense. You need that.
Yeah, Miles Bridges is just a weird case, man, because I don't know how he's going to fit on a good team.
What happened?
Man was crazy.
Name him was crazy. I mean, we just got to pretend like he doesn't exist. He's going to play in the NBA.
Hate that for the NBA.
I agree wholeheartedly.
He's going to get it back probably.
For my playing teams, I had the Hawks, the Raptors. I think the Raptors have some talent.
Hawks playing.
And sneakily, I had the Hornets as a team that can maybe make the play.
Welcome aboard.
If LaMelo
We were
stays
just
healthy,
whispering about that.
This East
if
is
Brandon
so
Miller
cooked.
takes a leap,
You're in?
I'm so sick.
You know he's not a LaMelo guy. He's injured, bro.
Oh, gee.
They got Charles Lee now. I'm there.
One this
I
season
like
right
his
here.
practice.
Yeah.
She's lit.
This season
Do you
right
like
here,
any
Drew.
injured anyone?
This season, Drew, there's a reason why this snow is here because I've been around for a long time. Okay, I've been around for a long time, and a guy like LaMelo Ball, who has shown me that he can be an all-star, who's shown me that he can play the lead guard position at an elite level, but he's also showing me that he can break down at any point and
heartbreaking.
go to pieces.
Breaks my heart, OG.
One more season. This season right here, Joe. If he breaks down again, I'm out. I'm out on LaMelo.
That's respectable.
I'm
That's
out.
fair.
OUT.
That's fair.
I'm
But
out.
Are you in
done
on
with
Brandon
Zion?
Miller?
I'm out.
Are you in on Brandon Miller, OG?
I am in on Brandon Miller.
I think
We're
he's
all,
a
I think we're all
star.
collectively in on Brandon Miller.
for
Yes,
sure.
I am in on Brandon
Love
Miller.
that.
He actually was a lot better. I thought he was going to be good. When I saw him in the summer league last season, he looked clueless, and that was largely due to the Charlotte summer league team being completely
were so
utterly
bad.
Yeah, they were
They
terrible.
got some coaching there now.
Najee ended up leaving the crew. They were awful. But I thought that he would be better with LaMelo, which when LaMelo was healthy, they were rolling.
They were lit.
Only to find out that you just breathe and he rolls his ankle and he's out for 55 games. We've seen this so many times, Drew. Come on, man.
Melo without LaMelo was tough.
You know
though.
who's a good player for the Hornets? They got an OKC trade. Trey Man.
Yes, Trey Man was awesome.
Trey
for them.
Man is a really good
Very good,
player,
too.
and if he can stay healthy, he's going to make an impact for them. I think the Hornets have done a good job at constructing their roster around players that fit. Grant Williams was a good pickup for them in the trade market. He wasn't good for the Mavericks, but he was good for the Hornets.
Yeah.
And they got Josh Green from the Mavericks too,
Sure they
who
did.
now he's there. He's going to be
Bring
their
some
energy
defensive
guy.
identity.
He's going to be their defender. So I feel like they're starting to construct this roster to the point that it's starting to make sense.
Anybody that knows me, Drew, knows that I think your starting five-man is in Charlotte with the Knicks. That's your starting five-man. The fact that the Knicks passed on Mark Williams 2 years ago,
heard.
that's
Mark
your starting
Williams
five-man.
awesome.
I love him.
He's
the fact that he
amazing.
got hurt, I'm not out on him yet because I think that he could be an elite glass cleaner. I think that he could be really good around the
Say,
rim.
OG, we're treading.
I'm not there yet with him. I'm not there yet with him, but yo, health is everything, man. The Boston Celtics proved that. If you can stay healthy, we can win it.
KP got hurt and they still won.
Yeah, they did, but it wasn't like he didn't play. There was a reason why they won 64 games this year. He did play in of the 82
Oh, no,
games.
he was great.
There was a reason why that they did what
the
they
playoffs-
did.
Celtics won game
He only
one.
played 4 games.
on.
That's all we could ask for.
Yeah, he only played 4 games, and he was injury prone. Sure, he was already injury prone.
Yeah, my last tier here is lottery teams. I have the Bulls, Nets, Wizards, Pistons. Those are my lottery teams.
All right, so let me rock out. Let me cook her. You don't even need one, OG.
Okay.
'Cause, you know, you could just piggyback.
This is
off
the
me.
Riv/OG tier
Yes, sir.
list.
This is
All right,
me and
that's
OG.
real.
We're gonna do our
Nice.
thing. So tier 1.
I ain't get the homework assignment. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I
It's
did
all good.
not.
You don't need it. You know ball, man. Tier 1. Oh, that shit scared the hell out of me.
What was it?
God damn, that's a big ant. Hey-ya!
There we go. Okay, tier 1, the heavy favorites, Boston, obviously. Don't want to talk about them too much. Tier 2,
Better pray to Allah.
Oh, shit.
tier 2 is if everything goes right, these are the teams that can legit beat Boston. Philly, New York, and then Milwaukee. Those are the only teams in the East that feels like give it a
Co-signing
chance.
that, OG?
I said if everything goes right. So everything needs to absolutely the fuck go right. The only team I really trust in that group is New York with their depth. Those other 2 teams, I don't like Philly's depth.
I agree.
don't like Milwaukee's depth. I don't even like the fact that Giannis, Dame, and Middleton dealt with injuries last year. Middleton is amazing when he plays, but like Kawhi, when he's gonna play? You know, tier 3 is the playoff teams: Cavs, Magic, Pacers, Heat. Self-explanatory. Tier 4 is the only. I have one team in this, the play-in, Atlanta. I think they're bound to the play-in as long as Trae Young is there. Like, at minimum, we see Trae Young will get
Facts.
you to a play-in spot. So I think they're bound to that, and I think Trae Young is that good. So he'll lead you up there. And then tier 5 is just the Hornets, Toronto, Detroit, Wizards, Nets.
At least Toronto has a plan. They look like they got a plan in what it is they're doing moving forward.
The Nets have a
low-key
plan
got a
now
cute
too.
The Nets finally have a plan.
They got a cute
The
squad.
Nets have a plan.